Hello, cellos. I am here to try to tell you how to play your own instrument. For Dije, this is the lesson discussion video. I do apologize in advance if I have royally messed up any fingering suggestions. That is because trying to come up with fingerings for the cello literally makes my brain melt and drip out my ears. But I felt like I should do my best to try to help you guys out because the licks at 27 and they're towards the end, 75 and so on, and all of the, if you want to do the glissandi, they have to be played up in position. I tried to help and figure all that stuff out for you ahead of time so that you can go into learning this piece with a plan. I know that you can read all of the notes that are on here, but the planning of where is it best to be on the fingerboard at each point, you're probably just going to default to first position, then slide around from there, and slamming and sliding around for all of these is going to spell disaster. So I wanted to give you some sort of little structure in the beginning and hopefully make it easier for you to learn these licks. So just one quick note about the opening. You and the violas and the second violins all have the same groove here, and we should not hear anything on the beat until measure 8 when you guys have a single downbeat, and then you continue on the ands anyway. So we really don't establish any sort of hard tempo beat pattern until measure 9, really, when we have a 3-beat note and then something on beat 4, which is still not really establishing where the beats are, and that's really cool. This is a pretty ambiguous opening and it's really neat. That said, on Thursday I know we were all sight reading, but I heard some of the rhythm section ignoring the ties in measure 4 and measure 6 and 14. So make sure that in these measures that you definitely observe these ties. I know we let some slurs and things go sometimes, but this is one that is not only crucial but easy. So I should not hear a rearticulation on beat 2 here. We should still be off the beat and then just hold the note all the way through the bar. Yeah, so your first page is pretty easy. And because your first page is easy, everything else is really hard. So let's talk about 27. I'm going to see if I can scan the copy that I've drawn all over and put it into the video here for you to be able to see it. If that doesn't happen, I apologize. I'm not very good at this fancy video making thing. But you guys will have my fingered parts as a reference in class. When I come back next week, I will give them to your teacher, and he will be able to give them to you or make copies for you so that you can reference it whenever. But anyway, most of this section between 27 and 35, we are switching between first and half position. There was one little lick at the end of 28 where you are printed to be in third position. Please do observe that. It's a really simple thing. You have a little while to get up to third position, and then it's just 1, 2, 3, 4 all right beside each other. So please do that one so that you can avoid doing like 4 for C natural and then shift up again for C sharp and then play an open D. It's not going to happen at the speed that you know it needs to happen. So you start this lick in 27 in half position. Half position meaning your first finger is behind the first finger tape, and now 2 has assumed the role of first finger. It is on the first finger tape. So you start E, D sharp, and then slide up for E, and you're in first position now. For 28, I recommend just reaching back. So you play the last beat of 27, E, F, E, C. Just do all of that in first position, and then while thinking that you're still in first position, just reach your finger back to play low 1 on the D string to catch that E flat. Then the next lick is in third position, easy peasy. 29 into 30 is in first position, also easy peasy, except for that one little 16th note where you have to pop over to the D string and back. I could not find a fingering that would avoid some sort of like split second string crossing somewhere. So I apologize. So I think the easiest way to do this is just stay down in first position and make a really quick string crossing. 30 into 31, same deal as 27 into 28. You start in half position, A, G sharp, A, B, and then divide into C or A, whichever line you're playing. Start the fourth beat in first position, C, B, and then I recommend slamming back to half position, 2, 1, so that you don't have a slide of 1, 1 here. We really want to hear all of these 16th notes cleanly. So the best thing that we can do is try to avoid 1, 1 shifts. I know I have a couple in here, but it's strangely sometimes cleaner to go up on 1, 1 than it is to go back. This one tends to slurp and slide, and 1 up to another 1 seems to be a little bit cleaner for some reason. I originally had the notes in 32 to be played in half position with your second finger jumping across the strings. I don't know, I think I was reading alto clef at this point because I had thought so hard about each lick up until this point that my brain was definitely melting and falling out of my head. So I'm amending my previous fingering that I gave you guys. And actually I want the B and E and 32 just come back up to first position and play it with your third finger jumping across the strings. Just boom, boom, 3, 3. The next 2 licks, play them in first position. Just remember, we do have a 1, 1 backwards here. Try to make that as clean as possible. 32 into 33. We don't really want to hear any smears yet. So, now, that being said, we will move on to the smears. I have you doing these in fourth position or third position to get a juicier slide. So you're sliding over more of the fingerboard rather than if you play E and then you go boop. That's all you have. I mean, this is a violin fingerboard, of course. So maybe in cello land, you'd be more like here or here. And then you get like that much gliss if you play your first finger. But it's definitely not as juicy as going up in position and sliding all the way back down. And that's really what we want here. We want something really, as the music says, very dramatic. So this was another place where I made a little bit of a whoopsie. Owen pointed out that the pickup to 43 in fourth position should be a fourth finger, not a third finger. And in fact, I thought a little bit more about it. It should be an extended fourth finger in fourth position on the G string. So we're like way up here, you extend for E, and then you just grab and drag and smear all the way back down to A. Hop back into fourth position on the last note of 43. So you're back in fourth position. Now you're on the D string to play 3, 2. So A, G sharp. Reach over for that E again because this is the best way to do it. Just E, G sharp, E, smear back down to A. The last note of 45. Shift up to third position so that G natural is being played with your second finger. F sharp with your first. Go ahead and play open D for this one. Open, F sharp, now reach over with your third finger on the G string for this gliss and smear all the way down to A. This is the point where I say the code word is sprinkles. Moving on to quickly talk about the grace notes in measure 50, which, helpfully enough, are the same exact grace notes as the notes in the very last measure of the piece. Please play these grace notes with 2 different fingers. We just did a whole bunch of Slurpee slides, and these are not notated to be Slurpee slides. We really want 2 very clean different pitches. So the first one is played in 3rd position with your 3rd and 4th finger. Beat 2 is back in half position with 1 and 2, and then you can play A with whatever finger you want. It could be 2 in half position, or you could go back up to 1st position and play it with your 1st finger. Don't matter to me. The section at 51, I know that you guys expressed a little bit of concern about the bow hold unicorn horn plucking thing. All that really matters is that you make it back to arco on time. That your pits is on time and that you get back to arco on time. I don't care what finger you use or whether you roll your bow all the way into your hand to do the plucking. Just do whichever is going to be the most musically successful. Moving on to 56 and 57, you have another gliss here that I definitely derped out and was reading alto clef because I originally wrote that you play this E with your 1st finger, but it would... that is exactly what it would be in alto clef if this were the note D, but since it is E, it is 3 fingers on the cello. So play 3 and then you slide up, just smear up to 4th position, extended 4. You don't have to smear all the way up to this note. Just like when we gliss down, we don't really take the 4th finger all the way back here. We just gliss for a while and play that note. Same thing's going to happen here on the upward slide. So you're going to slide up to 4th position and then just go ahead and plop that note down when you get there. Second, or the end of 2 in 57, just go back to 1st position. You don't have to stay up there and play the B with an extended 4 anymore. Going into 59, I think you must be in 4th position. I don't think there's any way to avoid going up for this one. It looks like I've also corrected this fingering, so I don't know if I made you write it down wrong or what, but I believe this should be your 3rd finger in 4th position. Is how you play E, and then F natural, the first beat of 59, is 4 right beside it. And then slam back down to 1st position for the majority, for the remainder of measure 59. In measure 60, you could do a 4-4 slide smear messy thing. I would recommend that you do not. I would like you to go to 3rd position there. So in 59, you play C with 2, D with 4, and then just replace your 4th finger with your 2nd finger. So now you're boom in 3rd position for D, E. I didn't offer any fingering suggestions for 61 and 62, maybe because my brain was dead at this point, or I looked at it and I figured that you guys can do this one pretty easily. I think it is doable. Moving on to the next bit. You have a slide into 75 that I realized I did not offer a fingering suggestion for. But since we did E up to B before, I would say that this is probably going to be 3-3 in 4th position, right? So we're starting on E. We just slide straight up to 4th position on A. So I think that should solve that. Then once you've completed your slide, you're going to slam all the way back to half position again for A. So you've just played A up here, but now we're going to go back and play A down here because we're doing the half to 1st position dance again. So A over to E, E, D sharp, boop, slide up to 1st position and you're home free. E, F, E, C, to B, C, whatever happens. Then I didn't do anything for the lick in 76, probably because it's easy enough to deal with. 77, the same exact half position dance. Start with D sharp, E, E, D sharp, slide up on the final E, and away you go. Nothing else to cover until the last measure, which we sort of already went over because measure 50 is the same exact notes. Please use 2 different fingers here. They should not be slurpy. They should be very cleanly 2 different pitches. So I apologize if any of these fingerings were horribly wrong, but I will at least be able to play, fingers crossed, the right notes on the piano for you guys in the play along video, so that you can have a proper pitch reference at least. I can do pitch and rhythm over there, and you guys can hopefully figure out a fingering that maybe these fingerings are the ones that work for you. If there is an easier alternative, by all means share it with the rest of the section and do that. I just wanted to give you guys some sort of starting point. So good luck, and I will see you in the play along.